No. Hey guys. Hello fellas. How's it going? Good? Great? Amazing? I'm a little raspy raps girl today because this is significantly earlier than I film videos normally. But hey, we're doing it. We're doing the dang. The dang thing has been done. All right, so today we are going to be doing our part 2 of our floor vocal masterclass number 2. So when I filmed this, the first part of this, I was like, oh, well, I'll do half and I'll do the other half. Well, that's not really the way that it worked. I really did like a third and now we're doing the rest. Or it depends. Maybe this will be 3 parts. I don't know, but this is part 2. Could be a part 3. Depends on what happens. Anything can happen in the last 5 turns. If you know what that's from, drop it in the comments. That's probably my most quotable phrase ever. So we're going to get right into it because I want my camera to record the whole thing, and I'm not certain that that's going to happen. So let's do it. Let's look at this. The beautiful Flor Jansen teach us how to sing. I'm so excited about this. She's got a wealth of knowledge, and I'm excied to tap into it. All right, here we go.
Relax. Now, I put my...
Relax. the first thing that she says.
hand on my stomach and on my belly button here. There are muscles everywhere here, and they work a little bit differently because, well, they're here, up here, there's the stomach. So as soon as you start to stress these muscles here, they actually go out a little bit, those muscles, because they're on top of the stomach. Down here, when the muscles start to stress, they go in a little bit. So what you're going to feel when you really work for it, you're going to feel that this area becomes a little bit rounder,
right,
and this area becomes a little bit more flat.
Yeah, and she says a lot of things about like the area, but a lot of times we just say the diaphragm. Obviously, she's talking about 2 different muscle groups, but it's interesting because, like, I feel like in like Americanized vocal technique, we focus so much on the diaphragm, and there are a lot more muscles in that area.
And the other way around, when you relax, then this area becomes a little bit more flat and this becomes a little bit more round. That can help you.
Hold on one second. Okay. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure it was on Do Not Disturb because if it's not, someone will call me.
You in the process of finding the right way to stress the muscles, feel it with your hands, see it in the mirror, feel what happens with your body inside of it. The combination will help you in the process.
Right. I can't stress enough like how much I wish she was closer to her microphone. So says the girl with like the worst habits about being close to her microphone, but whatever.
Same exercises we can do on a note. Still focusing fully on actually breathing. So what we're going to do now is sing on an ah.
Okay, I'm ready.
Take whatever note is
ready
for you. And we're just going to see if we can only focus on pushing out from here and letting it go.
Okay.
There we go. Ah. This becomes a bit
Look at that beautiful vibrato she has.
And I push everything out of the ah. And let it go.
She's a little crescendo there too. Like slight.
All right, seems to be working.
Yes.
If it doesn't work, maybe take a step back, try it on an and then integrate it back onto a note. Take your steps. Boring, yes. Necessary. We can also
I love exercises and warm-ups. I think they're so much fun. That was always my favorite parts of taking voice lessons.
The second exercise where we do short puffs and we take the power, let it go. We're going to see if we can put that onto a note. There we go. Ha 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 ha.
We sound like
seagulls.
seagulls.
A little bit more control because now I'm also singing, so I want to control my voice. I don't want to just go anywhere. And I'm doing this.
Yeah.
You see where I'm
getting
getting
a lot of control.
that the combination of things are only going to start building up. Now we just did think of it. Think if we're going to do a whole exercise, it already becomes harder. Think we're going to put this into a song. And we also need to remember what we're actually singing.
Right.
Take your time.
Yep, that's the thing about music. It's a lot of stuff is involved.
Time to build things up. If it feels like, I'm singing this song, but I'm never reaching that high note, or I just always run out of breath, go back to your exercises. See if you can build a better stamina. See if you can build up better control.
Yeah, foundational breath support is like the key, man.
And go again. All right, we did one more exercise where we really focused on singing, breathing, equally strong. From the first moment you start to sing to the very last note you sing, it's going to be supported.
Right.
It can't just go down because you're running out of either power.
Running out of gas is what I always call it. My kids are so confused when I say that. They don't know what gas is.
Air. So we're going to try that with a full focus on that. We're going to take the same whatever is comfortable for you. Focus on the breathing. Feel how the stomach is doing. There we go. I don't want it to go down. Ooh, there at the end here, I got a little bit tired. I need to build better up. I need to feel that I can really use everything.
I like that she uses her own experience of being like, see, I did that thing I said not to do. I think that's cool.
Power-wise and breathing-wise to sustain the whole note. There we go. We practice. All right, that was it for breathing part 1. There's lots to do with this, and it's super, super boring. So I hope I made it a little bit more fun for you.
I love it,
Stand in front of your mirror, confront
Stop
yourself,
apologizing.
and practice. Good luck. Breathing support. Where do you support?
See, in the first video, that would have been a good place to stop. Oh, well.
Which muscles do you actually use, and which one do you not use? Well, we already focused on the belly, the lower belly, the area around your stomach. That's a very, very main area that you really want to have control over.
Right.
Then there's the entire diaphragm that really helps to support with a massive power center here. And then there are the muscles in your back here called your latissimus dorsi. It sounds very fancy. For a very, very strong man, it looks like they have wings. And for women, it's usually the area where your bra is. But then there are also muscles in your lower back that really help to sort of support, keep up the torso when everything else starts to work.
Mm-hmm.
Muscles up here, no, they don't really work. Your shoulders,
Not for that stuff.
they just stress.
They just get in the way.
Oh no. How about your ass? No. There are so many more muscles that seem to want to work along, but they don't really.
No.
You can still use a lot of energy from your body to really get there, as long as you don't stress the right ones and not everything else. So we're going to pick this up in parts, because we cannot just reach all those muscles at once. Well, during my lessons, I found it very difficult to just point at somebody's muscle and say, this one, here,
Yeah.
feel mine. Now I feel yours.
Yeah, that's been the weirdest thing for me with my students, is being like, diaphragm, like right here. And then I'm like, see, put your hand right here. And I'm like, you can't really do that. You know? Can't really do that.
You use it. It's very difficult because you have maybe never used it
Right.
like that in the context of singing. And so one of the things I started recommending, because I felt it myself so much, is to go out and sports. Do a lot of sports and get really sore in those muscles, because then you'll really feel them the next day. And when you start to stress them a little bit, they're like, oh yeah, you know, the feeling of doing sports and coming home.
Okay, that's a great idea.
Places you didn't know you even had muscles. Well, that's sort of where I'm getting at. Get them sore so you can feel where they really are. When you start to sing, activate them. And that process is slow. It's going to take a little bit of time to get used to where they actually are. And this is the part where I wish I could stand in a room with you to show them where they actually are and how to activate them.
See, and that's what's really cool, is like she's straight up explaining to you how the voice is an instrument. And like, That's pretty sick. That's pretty cool.
In general, good action and activity and power in your body is vital. One of the things I noticed throughout my lessons and throughout the years was that a lot of people don't know how to tap into the real energy in their bodies. That didn't mean they were not strong enough, but how to activate yourself.
How to use it.
And the people that had lessons with me will remember how I asked them to give me their hands, and I would grab their hands like this and drag them through the room. Because the minute I started pulling on them, they started activating a lot of muscles. Surely also a couple we don't really need, but definitely a lot that we do. So if you're going to practice and you feel like you actually need a little bit more power, grab a friend by the hand that you feel
because you're like creating resistance. I've had that somebody did that in a lesson with me before.
Comfortable with to help you. And if you don't really feel comfortable with that, you can still wrap a rope or something around something that you really hold, so you can hold yourself and pull when you need extra power. Not all the time, but when you need a little bit extra.
Well, because if you think about it, like if you're like tugging, you're like flexing your abdomen, right? So if you're like pulling, if you're playing tug of war, right? Like Squid Game style, you're like, your abdomen is flexing. And so that's what I always say to people. Is like, imagine you're flexing your abs. Like you've got like a six pack and you're like flexing. That's what I say.
Because the moment you do this, you go through your knees a little bit, you activate a lot of muscles in your belly. You surely will activate a lot of muscles in your back. Just try to not pull up your shoulders. Keep them down.
Tension.
That's where they're at their best. And then it's also easier to activate this latissimus dorsi and keep your best.
Latissimus dorsi. Latissimus dorsi. She says it cooler than I do.
Right. That's where energy lies. But do you need 100% of your power all the time? Do you need 100% of the potential air you can take up in your lungs all the time? No. So that is another puzzle to make, because you might sing a very low tone, but with a lot of air on it. It's going to take a lot of your support and a lot of air to make an airy note. If you sing a very high belted note, it's going to take a lot of control and power, but just a tiny bit of air actually.
Contrary to popular belief.
Singers thinking, preparing themselves physically and mentally for the high note to come, and there they go. And then it doesn't really get out. Why not? You should have had the shoulders down.
Always the shoulders.
Should have maybe taken a little less breath, because the moment that we really lift everything here, we cannot use part of this area longer.
Well, and you're also like, when you take a big breath like that, you're accessing a different register. And so like, you're like having to like go between. It's complicated and hard. Belting is hard. Take it from a belter. It's hard.
We cannot use the latissimus dorsi, we cannot use the back.
Love it when she says that.
And then we have so much air in our lungs. Think of that balloon and think of that tiny bit of air that you actually need for a belted note. It's just going to be really, really, really difficult to support all that air for not just flowing out. So maybe you recognize this from yourself. As soon as the high note comes, you go up like this, or the jaw starts to clench.
Yes.
And you take so much more
The
air.
worst.
You can do this during exercises, and I will surely come back to this even when we're going to continue with a little bit more like breathing exercises and vocal exercises, that we're going to focus on how much air you actually need. And very often, it's just a tiny percentage of the actual capacity of both your breathing as the power, the jaw, the helpful jaw. The one that wants to help along when you start.
All right, this is going to be the part, man. Okay, so the thing that I found with teaching is that, and not just with teaching other people, being taught myself, is that the jaw is just your worst enemy. If you can figure out how to lose tension in your jaw, there's lots of exercises to be able to do that and everything, but tension in your jaw is the biggest deterrent for singers, period, all the time. And then also with the inability of people to open their mouth because they feel like they have to crush so much tension in their jaw, right? You can do everything in the world to be an excellent singer, but if you don't open your mouth for that sound to escape, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're doing.
To sing hard and reach for the note when it comes. Or the jaw just in general wants to come forward or a whole head that wants to lift up. We want our heads here. It's maybe a very old-fashioned thing, but they used to tell me this, to think of a long
string
rope on top of your head, or you can, if you have long hair, you can just pull yourself up and make sure that you don't pull backwards, because you're gonna pull the string.
I always call it a turtleneck. We don't want to be turtles, right? You don't want to be like this. Because you're just creating more tension. Because a lot of people, when they sing high, they want to like reach up. It's not helpful. Contrary to popular belief, not helpful.
Because you just don't want to lift like this. You can even hear it when I do so.
Turtleneck.
This little area starts to push onto the
She's a very pretty turtle.
The vocal cords are in, and creating a pressure that's obviously not helping, especially not with high notes, because think of your vocal cords as elastic bands.
Mm-hmm.
If
Basically,
you have an
they look
elastic
very
band
much
in your
like
hand
that.
and you would stretch it out, you would pluck on it, it would sound higher and higher, right? The further out you go, the higher the note becomes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a little bit what happens with your vocal cords. So you can see what my hands are doing. The higher the note, the more space they need. And that space needs to be created in your throat. And that's where the basics come in. That's where the breathing needs to be right, where the breathing support needs to be right, where the tension around this area needs to be right. Else, the system around the vocal cords will not provide the necessary space. And that's when it starts to sound tense, or the voice just doesn't do it, or
strained.
All the effects you might be familiar with. So you need the right space for those vocal cords to really, really go there. Think of, again, as your vocal cords as the elastic band. Also very low notes, then they become very thick and flubbery.
Right.
So that's also why low notes are so hard to control, but for a whole different reason. Because they really want to control the air, else it just becomes a really weird sound. And that's where all the breathing support comes in, the right breathing techniques, but also, once again, the jaw. In the previous masterclass, I told you that the lower jaw should always...
We watched that. Link here. I will totally remember to do that, to post a link here to that video. 100%.
be behind the upper jaw. Not go front, no stretching, no reaching either.
Terrible.
So it should be behind.
I like that flower tattoo she got on her hand. Just want to say that.
Well, there is a little bit more...
So I've heard people talk about a dropping, like feeling like your jaw's dropping instead of you actively moving it, but think about it like just falling down when you move it, and that creates less tension.
To it, because there are so many different styles of singing. When you belt a note, hey, it's more like a smile.
The smile's the
with
trick.
The corners of my mouth. It's almost like I could bite into an apple. Hey!
Hey!
But when I sing a more operatic kind of note,
It's a vocal shape.
I hang it down.
Face shape.
I want to make a lot of space because I use different spaces in my head and the actual mouth where a lot of the acoustic comes out. So even an E is formed on the inside, where also is formed on the inside, but I can use the jaw a little bit more to help form the notes. So those things are important to take into consideration when you start singing, that the vocal type also kind of determines how the position of the mouth is going to be. But always, the jaw is relaxed, it's not tensed, yet with the biting apple principle of there's a little bit more tension around this, but it's not tensed, and I'm not clenching my jaw. And with the operatic stuff, it's much more open.
When I was in college, I had such bad jaw tension that I would get lockjaw in my voice lessons, and I wouldn't be able to sing for the rest of the lesson because my jaw would literally lock. And everybody was trying to figure it out. They're like, oh, you must grind your teeth when you sleep, whatever. I was also going through a very hard time in my life, and I had a lot of stress. But it would straight up lock. It was not fun.
Down. But always back. I showed you a little bit of the exercise where I put a finger behind my upper teeth. Maybe you've been already trying it.
We did that.
In the meantime, you've been trying quicker on maybe in the meantime, you've been pushing your finger forward because it's really important that you keep it straight. And I just wanted to stress that one more time. If you're going to try this at home, do it in front of the mirror so you can see if the finger is still straight or slowly but surely still getting pushed out by the jaw that's going to win the fight.
I mean,
so
I got to
really
overbite, so thankfully that
when
helps.
When you do this exercise, of course, it's very hard to pronounce any words. So it's not there.
I think it's really easy to do that for.
The jaw is doing. And when you're warming up or you're really focusing on breathing exercises and you're putting those breathing exercises into notes, you can also already connect this exercise to that. As I said, we're going to build up step by step, focus on different parts of the body that we need to learn how to control to eventually get them pre-programmed enough that it's a complete automatic thing that happens. So you don't need to think about that anymore so much when you actually start to put things, all this knowledge and all this knowledge pre-programming into a song. Which of course is the thing, like I said also in the previous masterclass, when I'm on stage with Nightwish, I don't think, ooh, I should focus on my belly.
Right.
Ooh, I don't know if the position of my jaw is okay. Are my shoulders down? Am I tensing my... No. All those things I've done before. By the time I'm on stage, that's all done.
Right.
I have been studying a lot, and I have
it's in your muscle memory
to study with good teachers that taught me step by step where to go to, and people that needed to help me reprogram if there were things not going correct already.
And that's such a great point, and takes so much humility to be able to do, because there's so many people that are in her position that wouldn't listen to anybody about technique stuff. And it's really great that she has an open mind to be able to like absorb that kind of stuff, because this is her career. Like if she's doing something inaccurately, I'd want to know. I'd like to know something that would help the longevity of my voice. Absolutely 100%. I'm more sensitive because of reasons.
Once again, give yourself a little bit of time. Try to sing like this. Focus on what your jaw is doing. Don't let it push your finger out. Keep it straight and see if you can make a little bit of a smile. Hey! Or let it all hang. Oh! Finger should be straight. All right. Good luck. Thank you so much for watching this second masterclass.
You're welcome, Floor.
I hope you were able to pick something up from everything I've been telling you.
Thanks.
Once again, give yourself the time to practice. Give yourself the time to get this fully automatic into your system, and it's not done by a day or a week or a month. So give yourself that. And most importantly, enjoy doing it. It was a pleasure to tell all this to you.
It's always a pleasure.
And, there will be
always
a masterclass.
Yes, there will. It already exists.
I'll be going through some of my personal favorite warm-up exercises. So
stay
tuned. And if you did not subscribe, please do.
Yeah, dude.
See you next time.
I'm subscribed. Are you? Obviously, Floor is like so talented and knows what she's doing. I think that she just comes in with such a wealth of knowledge and humility when she's teaching it. And all of these warm-ups and everything that she's doing, and that she's teaching you how the mechanisms and everything work, is so helpful when you're on your journey of being a musician. It's so helpful to be able to have somebody that you know has the payoff for all of these things, right? And so that's what the big takeaway that I had from this, when she's talking about how like when she's on stage with Nightwish, she's not thinking about, oh, I got to use these muscles, I need to like not engage this part, I need to relax my shoulders, I need to relax my jaw, I don't need to have too much tension in my jaw. Like at that point, it's natural. Like at that point, it's like it's muscle memory. And so that's something that I like try to instill in everyone that I teach, is like, hey, this is all fundamental stuff. You got to walk before you can run. It's a marathon, not a race. Okay. So when people have like progress videos, especially of belting. I like that she talked about belting a little bit, but people make like progress videos of like their belts. And this isn't, and you're talking about years, especially when people are belting outside of their range and they're trying to navigate between their head and their chest voice, or in their mix, which is like the most annoying part of your voice. But it's like the transformation of your voice takes a long time. It's not just something that you're going to get in a short amount of time. We can't all be Andrew Garfield that learned how to sing in a year and did Tick, Tick, Boom and sounded great. Okay. I know a bunch of you have no idea what I'm talking about, but I'm going to complain about it because I guess English people are just better. I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, if you guys don't subscribe to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you get a notification every single time I post a new reaction video. I post new reaction videos every single Friday. And then whatever frack I want on Wednesday, but this isn't a reaction video. So don't know why I'm saying it like that. Just subscribe to the channel. That's all I have to say. So, yeah, click the buttons. There's a bunch of stuff down below for you to check out. I don't know. You guys have a wonderful morning, noon, or night. Wherever you are in the world, you're loved by me. And I'll see you later. Alligator, after a while, crocodile. Charis out. Sush, 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 sush. You see, or just go, enough. Let's get a little running start, shall we, boys and girls? And jump! Ah! Okay. Who is this singing? Oh, God! No! Oh, Lord!
Negative.
Death! Death to you! Death, sir! Oh, dude. I almost fell off the building. Ah! I did. Whoops. No, no. Let's get it. No, no. Up. Up. Yes. Okay. Tap into it. Oh, no. I accidentally clicked away. That's not what I meant to do. Please stop. It's hard out here. It's hard out here for a belter. I'm just going to come over here and casually check. Please stop. Oh, everything is wrong. Everything is wrong. Okay. Everything is awful. Obviously, you know, floor is like, oh wait, hold on. Something's happening. Something's happening. Okay. Even though they're huge, we're just Americans and are weird. Cut all that out. Cut all that out. But see you later. I almost knocked stuff over on my way out. No surprise there.